Can you really fit an entire retirement plan onto one page? And would it even be that helpful? Well, we've created hundreds of one-page retirement plans and we gave them to our clients, and that's increased the confidence and the peace of mind to retire and really start living that life to the fullest. Not too long ago, Sean created a one-page plan for a client. And then directly after that meeting, the client called up his boss and let him know the date that he was going to retire. Now, that doesn't happen frequently, but another person who was not a client, but we were showing them the one page plan, we went through it. And in the meeting together, they said, I've gotten more value from this one page than the previous 15 years working with my current advisor. So it is useful and it's worth understanding. So today, we're going to go over the essential elements to the one page plan, and then what to avoid when creating your one page plan, and then also how to just create one yourself. One of the big benefits of a one page plan is that it actually makes taking the right next step more actionable and less intimidating, leading to really a more successful retirement and planning process. Because one of the big myths that we see in the financial world is that complexity equals better. But after doing this a decade and a half, we found that that's just not true. We have people come to us for an update on their plan, and they bring us a 50-page binder. And we ask, well, how often or when was the last time that you reviewed this? And they'll often say, well, probably when we got it from our advisor 3 years ago. But really, it's just sat in the file cabinet since then. And you and I both know that proper financial management isn't a set it and forget it endeavor, right? Life changes, events happen. We need to adapt, and we need our financial plans to adapt as well. And the retirement strategies, the investment strategies, the economy, the tax rules, those things aren't static. So neither should our retirement plan. The best retirement plans are the ones that are adaptable and can change when life changes. And the one page plan really acts as a compass. And I'll give you an example. Imagine a year from now, you've got an opportunity to do something big that you're excited about, and it requires money to do that big thing. But let's pretend the economy isn't in the same spot it was, or your account values are down than where they are right now. So that causes a little bit of hesitation to spending that extra money. Like if you can remember back to 2008, people were kind of shoring up their finances a little bit and maybe not doing as much. But we found that with the one page plan, it's much easier. Rather than pulling out the 50-page binder, pull out the one page plan and then just remind yourself, oh, you know what? We did say one of the top values was family and kids and big trips. And we did create this account for a purpose to fund these sorts of trips. So let's do it. So let's go over the parts of the one page plan. And if you apply for a call at streamlineplanning.com, this is something that you're going to see, or you can replicate this yourself. So here at the bottom are the three essential areas that we got to get right in the beginning stages of retirement planning. Now, there's a lot of other areas of retirement planning, but if we can focus on these three first, that's going to be key. You may have heard me talk about them before, and that's the income plan here, and then the investment plan, which is really not decided until you figure out the income plan, right? If we order them of order of importance, it's really one and then comes two. A lot of people will choose their investment plan based on risk tolerance or how they feel or how they want to be invested. But really, we found that if you can focus on the income plan, design it, and look at all of the impact of your financial life before the money decisions are made, if you can do that, then it tells you exactly how you should be invested. There's more purpose and reason why you want to have certain accounts or investments. Because really, one of the helpful things we've seen is an exercise is we want to find the least possible risk, but also give the highest chance of success of the income plan. And then finally, the last part is the tax plan, which really encompasses all parts of this retirement planning, both of those things. But we really want to make sure we're not paying more tax than we need to. And that has to do with strategic withdrawal strategy as well. And then some of these tax strategies that I talk about on this channel. So there are more mini plans other than these three, but these are the top three to start. The other ones, to get an idea, are the estate or legacy planning, or also just the insurance and protection side of things, or charitable endeavors. And then there's the medical side, or just making sure that might be related to insurance as well. But these three are the best place to start, and then you can build the plan even more from there. So now I want to show you the top part of the plan. And this is kind of, I'd say, is the secret sauce to the plan, because there's an important question to answer And that's why are we even planning in the first place? Why do we care to optimize the tax and the investment and the income plan and make sure we're not spending more tax than we need to? Is it just to feel secure and feel more safe moving into this next stage of life? That's a good reason. Is it to feel more confident in the future? That's a good reason too. But there are usually other important things too. And there's things that you value that your neighbor doesn't, or that I don't. For example, this person here, let me pull up the plan. One of the things they value is growing that church community. So she and her husband, they're going to spend part of their week involved in that activity. They're also going to have part of their budget that's set aside for giving to their church. Someone else may value, maybe we have a client who's interested in flying planes and wants to have his plane community and group of people that's all about planes. Now that's different than that interests me, but that's the beautiful thing about the things that we value. So once we can identify those things that are most important to us, then we can make sure that the money and the values is aligned. And then that just makes financial decisions so much easier. For instance, like that person I mentioned who it was a bad, if it's a bad market or bad economy and they're thinking about taking a trip with their kids, but the accounts are down. Well, it's easier to make that decision because it's one of the top 3 things that they care about. So those are sometimes the subjective things, values. Then we want to get into the tangible things. What are the tangible things that require money and planning to achieve? So then we get into the goals, right? Retirement is one of the main goals here for a lot of our clients. And usually there's a certain monthly income they'd want to achieve. And don't pay attention to the numbers. These are just examples. And they want to downsize or they want to move to a different state and do that. And usually there's a lot of other goals that require money and planning to achieve. And they're important to map out because a lot of these will fit into the income plan, which I'll show you an example of coming up. And that's really where we look at these what if scenarios. What if the house was 500K? What if it was 700K? How does that impact the next 30 years of our plan? Those things, find out now before you make the decision or spend the money. And that brings a lot of peace of mind to our clients. And very quickly, just looking at the what if scenarios. So this is an example of what that looks like here, where you want to plug in some of these different things. If you did sell the Illinois house and move, or if you did the one-time big expense, usually we'll see the plan and this is the value of all the accounts together. Usually if we start doing these big things, we'll see it trail down, but that's the purpose of money, right? Sometimes it's not about having the most at the end of life. It's about using it wisely and feeling like you're spending it on the things most important to you. Now, an important thing, as you know, once you create you get clear on what's important to you, and then you identify the goals that you want to achieve that require money. Once we do the in-depth review, there are usually things that get in the way, roadblocks or risks that could harm the plan. So we need to identify the top ones and then mitigate those risks, right? This requires more of an in-depth analysis here to come up with some of the risks. But this is, after we figure this out and get some information, then we'll do the income plan, we'll do the investment review, and then we'll identify, okay, these are the biggest ones that could impact, because we look at the what if scenarios and then see the biggest things that throw us off or throw the plan off. And then when you have the risks that you know about, and then what ends up happening is down here in the solutions area, that's where we figure out, oh, so current allocation is this. Let's look at the bucket strategy. Let's mitigate that sequence of returns risk, or let's prepare for the different economic seasons because we're not yet prepared we don't have assets that do well in inflationary periods or deflationary periods or whatever it is. Now, this one is not, maybe it would seem rare, but just identity in retirement, because we work all our lives and we get value from the jobs we do and the things we create through our work. Once that's gone, there's a bit of a shift in, what's my identity in retirement. So that's just that's more of the side view, for every financial plan. It's the money things. And then there's these other things that are I talk about them, we've got the finances here, and then the faith, the fitness, the fun, and then family, right? And friends, whatever it is. But proper retirement plan, a real retirement plan, is at the intersection. Find an advisor who can act at the intersection of these two things. Because We see a lot of people who have the plan all buttoned up and the money side looks great, but they're not fulfilled. They're not happy in retirement. We need to blend the two for that ultimate fulfillment in retirement. So now, how can you create that one-page plan yourself if you want to do it yourself? Well, I would suggest looking at the first 3 chapters of the book called The One-Page Financial Plan by Carl Richards. That can help you walk through it. I would say, look at those first 3 chapters, and I believe it might even be offered. He might give it away for free on his website or something like that, but that's useful. And then also combine that with a planning software like the new retirement planner below this video to look at some of the what if scenarios. The second way to do it now, if you're already working with an advisor that mainly focuses on the money side or just the investment side and isn't a retirement specialist, then you could also reach out to us and we could create a one-page plan for you. But do know that our number one focus is our current clients that trust us. So we don't always have time to work with new people, but we'll get back to you either way. If you go to streamlineplanning.com and then click on the Get Started button, we'll get back to you either way. And then the third thing you could do is sign up for the email list below, because I'll continue to send out helpful ideas or helpful questions to be pondering or thinking about in retirement or as you get closer to retirement. And then if you want to create a plan that can withstand the future unplanned events that are going to happen no matter what, check out this video on the anti-fragile retirement plan. And then a few other ones will pop up as well. But hope that was helpful. If it was, give it a like, and then I'll see you in the next video.